At once, set with low expectations. Really thought this would just be another dud in the sprawling series. But after coming out of the screening with a wide grin, I was very satisfied with the outcome. The MCU needed a film to restore balance to its current formula. Well, enter the Thunderbolts. A team of anti-heroes is assembled in the ruins of New York City to take on a mission since the Avengers are not present, and I gotta admit, I did not expect this to exceed my expectations. I really do think this is the pinnacle that the MCU has been in, ever so reminded me of some of their classic Phase 1 to 2 movies. A major upgrade in comparison to the shameless Phase 4, which came with almost nothing but multiverse junk. But this one has its own story, making it a highlight in this phase. This could be a great signal that Marvel is trying to cook just like old times. So, what makes Thunderbolts such a great MCU movie? How does it excel in its basic plot devices? And why could it be a great step in the right direction going forward? In today's movie review, I'll be talking about the most underrated superhero movie of 2025, Thunderbolts. You'll understand the true jolt of electricity that powered the old Marvel formula straight back to its roots. First of all, we gotta talk about this movie's unique storytelling. Finally, after getting nothing but multiverse junk from Phase 4 and beyond, Marvel has gone out of their way to create an original superhero movie, just like the old days, without relying on big superhero IPs. Also, the pacing is perfect. It doesn't feel slow, it gets straight to the point, there are enough action sequences that a typical Marvel fan would expect, whilst not completely overwhelming the plot with it because it's a typical trope in recent films, and shows plenty of dynamics with the team of anti-heroes. Speaking of the characters, this story was crafted with a very satisfying approach. This ain't nothing like Suicide Squad. Since the Avengers aren't around because they've gone their own separate ways, and without any other team assembled, a group of anti-heroes who aren't very well known and have questionable decisions attempt to try and overcome a dangerous mission, with the threat being a dark conflict that could cost them their own lives. Now, being an original MCU movie isn't a big deal on paper, but you gotta take a look back on what we got during Phase 4 and 5. Exactly. This one has an original story and goes straight back to what made Marvel special. If you've been craving good ideas after watching generic franchise fatigue, this will definitely help refresh your mind and remind you about how special the MCU truly was back then. Original, yet creative. The voice acting is absolutely incredible, and it's not that crowded or generic either, making good use of the film's star power. Best examples being Florence Pugh, who is easily the highlight of it all and gives this movie its heart. Sebastian Stan, who still has it in him even today's standards. Wyatt Russell, who has more time to shine as John Walker compared to his earlier appearances. Lewis Pullman was awesome, and David Harbour is still very hilarious in his Red Guardian role. There's this sort of charm these actors bring to their characters, and it definitely shows just how great the MCU was back then with its talented stars. Speaking of characters, Marvel manages to bring plenty of strong character development for every character, which is a very amazing move on their part for the team of anti-heroes. There are plenty of narrative points to be explored here. Rather than focusing a lot on action spectacle, it prioritizes our characters and gives them some strong depth, making their stories even better. It's like they took some characters that aren't very talked about and added plenty of depth to them, helping overcome their past mistakes and having a change of heart, bringing their team all together. Any character you come to see in the story has plenty of time to shine thanks to how much they change in the film. The sheer amount of dark themes this movie has is just outstanding. They are extremely grounded and take themselves in more of a dark, adult-oriented direction. Such themes include depression, PTSD, loneliness, and self-worth. Yelena and Bob say it all with their story arcs. The emotional support is needed rather than bypassing it with brute force, as that's again typical for a superhero movie, which is again showing how unique this sets itself compared to its past predecessors. How awesome that this movie's climax is about a resolution with all of our characters coming together rather than a typical massive final battle against something. The tone that ups as well blends your needed humour with a good amount of seriousness. The comedy that Red Guardian provides does not take away this movie's creative direction, and the emotion remains as a result. The more you think about it, the more bad you feel about everyone's character in this movie, as it's not just Yelena, it's about everyone, and it's all visible in the film. For a superhero movie that needs action to help its plot move forward, this one has plenty of it, with lots of good cinematography and spectacle. It's more grounded compared to past Marvel movies, so this is different. Sentry's power was built to be as strong as all the Avengers combined. While it's not seen as much here, you can get a clear glimpse of it. All of the scenes that are shown with Void's powers were nothing short of spectacular. There are practical effects, a gritty aesthetic, and visible shooting, along with its lighting, so that it comes off from the cheesy direction that modern superhero movies take themselves in nowadays. Many criticize Marvel movies these days as fake, but this one's events go off so hard that it makes you think that it actually happened. Even if these movies rely too much on special effects from superheroes to land constant blows on enemies, that's completely abandoned in this movie, as all that's really needed to see here was the effort from our characters. That's all it needed. It was quite a relief to see a movie look this good with no cheap editing to make it what looked like at first to be one of the most dull attempts at making an MCU movie. Finally, the amount of structure that was put in this movie is very distinct with its structure. For starters, it does well in its genre mixing, making sure that it sticks to the basics. It takes its time talking about it. Instead of relying on forced humor and political themes like its previous installments, it combines them together, but balances them out with plenty of fantasy and drama. It makes the film more stylish because that's what you'd expect from an original MCU movie. As I mentioned previously, it gets many things right to make it a fantastic movie, like the tone-blended elements, the grounded story, the character development, the visual style, and plenty of decent choreographed action sequences using classic superhero elements and blending them with technology today. The world's most controversial team, as it is known to the MCU, turns into a fond family because we care a lot more about them. This is what makes chemistry between the cast so much fun. It's a major step up in general thanks to the effortless direction of Jake Schreier. He's currently directing an X-Men reboot for the MCU, which is currently in development. Hopefully, he uses this movie's already excellent qualities and utilizes some fantastic character development, just like Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts does not get the recognition it deserves. This is a fantastic movie that perfectly sets the bar high for what's to come. It does a little something for everyone. With a very creative premise and a story that more than holds up with its slick runtime, it helps bring something new here compared to the sequels and multiverse junk we've had recently, especially since it was used for the entirety of the MCU's main plot device, starting with Phase 4. The cast chemistry is just engaging as heck, with proper character development. The emotional depth works wonders. The themes are powerfully grounded, helping take itself in a more darker approach. It gives us some entertaining action sequences, despite being different than its past competitors, and its entire structure is very distinctive, making you fall in love with Marvel all over again, like in the old days. Definitely a much needed relief after the recent atrocity set afoot in this series. You'll just want to see all of these characters in the next few Avengers movies, which will take the characters to new levels, potentially going all out to end this multiverse saga for good. Thunderbolts is an absolute delight for those looking for an original Marvel movie that sets itself apart from its franchise. With a galvanizing jolt of energy from Florence Pugh's Gleam and Delight and a stylish premise applicable to its team of anti-heroes, Thunderbolts is one of the MCU's most astonishing adventures in years. My final score for this underrated gem is a 10 out of 10 and a grade S. This is old school superhero magic returned to its former glory, and I was very happy with the results in the final film. I got so sick and tired of the same MCU formula going through my head that I was getting fed up with it. I genuinely started to wonder if Marvel will ever recover from their travesty due to franchise fatigue, but now that this movie has given us something unexpected for old school fans, I'll be saying otherwise. But with that being said, leave a like on this video if you guys did enjoy my review on Thunderbolts, and also remember to subscribe if you're new and hit that bell icon to see more content on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Take care of yourselves.